Today we're shooting a $10 million property and I'm gonna be showing you my entire creative process from start to finish, shooting luxury homes just like this one. Got the POV rig on, so you're gonna see what I see and we'll jump straight into it. So as far as camera, what we've got today is we've got the RS4 Pro, we've got the A7S III for our camera body, and today I'm shooting on the Laowa 12mm manual focus. I also have the Laowa 10mm. They're pretty much identical. Doesn't matter, whichever one you have is great, but I've got the 12 here. And I'm shooting S-Log3 4K 60. Before we get started, I want to teach you about the 4 essential shots of real estate media. These are what I call my glue shots, and number 1 is the push shot. So push shots work best when we have a long straight line that we can follow, and all our camera does is move along a straight line. We're not trying to introduce any wobble, any tilt, any warp. I lock my gimbal in PF mode. I usually lock the trigger too, so I can rotate. Everything stays steady and stays simple. This is the best way to get a push shot. So with that, I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll move into shot number 2. It's essential on these push shots to always pick an end target before you start the movement so that you can keep your grid and keep your X locked on. All right, so a push shot is cool, but what if it doesn't really show off the space like we want it to? In this case, we went down a really long hallway. That's cool, but what if we want to show the living room? That's where shot number 2 comes in. That's called the push curve. And it's essentially the same thing. We're pushing and then curving on an arc to reveal more space. So same principles apply, PF mode on the camera. And what I'm gonna do, this is essential for a good push curve. Start the gimbal rotation early in your wrist. So just tilt it like 45 degrees, tilt, and then you just follow the camera. At this point, I'm literally just following the camera. I'm not trying to steer the camera. I'm not trying to aim the camera. I'm just following the camera movement to keep it steady and smooth. All right, now the third glue shot. This is an orbit shot, and this is one of my favorite shots in real estate media. This one, we're following the same principle of locking onto a center focus and then orbiting around it, and it creates this circular endless movement. So in this case, I'm gonna pick this middle bookshelf console here, keep my elbows nice and tight, close to my chest, starting my rotation again early, and I'm just moving around. I wanna keep that X on my camera as close to the center as I humanly can, all the way to the end of the room. You'll see I went all the way across the end of the room from one end to the other with that center focus. All right, so the 4th and final glue shot is called the slider shot. I don't typically do it on the wide lens. I usually save it for the detail lens, but the same concept still applies on PF mode on the gimbal. I've got my finger locked on the trigger, so it allows me to twist and I don't change any variables. And then it also allows me to get just behind the camera from the side. And then I'm gonna bend my knees a little bit, same as everything else. And I'm just gonna push, almost like I'm pushing or shooting a wide straight push and just sliding from left to right. It's a classic movement, left to right movement, classic architectural movement, staple in every real estate video. So step 1 of the process, I usually like to start with the exteriors. As you can see, I'm out here at the exterior of the home. I always like to start with my wide shots first, which is why I've got the 12mm on, and I'm only looking for my glue. My glue is my push shot, my push curve, my orbit, and my slider. So I'm only looking to get 3 to 4 shots in each space, starting with the exterior. So starting with the exterior, I'll show you what we get. What I'm looking for right now, I'm looking for a center point to lock my grids on. And as you can see from my camera here, I'm looking for a center point, which is right there in the middle of the bridge. And I'm looking for just a simple push shot. And I want to get as far back as I can. So I'm going to start back here in the gravel where I don't have to bob and bounce too much. I'm going to lock right in the center there. I'm going to hit record, lock my elbows. My elbows are like a 90 degree. Slightly bend the knees, and then I'm just gonna push through very gently at a nice smooth pace. I'm not trying to run, I'm not trying to jog, but I'm also not trying to creep walk. I'm just going all the way to the middle as far as I can till I hit this plant, and that's good for that shot. Now I'm gonna look for some other opportunities, different angles to get something more creative. I see another good opportunity pushing into this gate, so we'll try that one next. All right, so now I'm all the way back here. We get a good sense of the whole space of the house, what it looks like. This house is too big to fit in one frame, but this gives us a good sense of what it looks like, and I'm just centering directly on that entrance gate. What we're gonna do is a bounce transition where the gate is closed right now. We're gonna push straight in, open the gate, film it again, and push all the way through. So I'll show you what that looks like. I've got my finger on the trigger here. I'm just pushing all the way in. Trying to keep that center focus, just focusing on my center point, my grids. Push all the way to the gate. Now, open the gate. Now we're gonna go all the way back exactly where we started. A pro tip is when you start these shots where you're gonna get transition, this applies to day to nights, this applies to door opening effects. You wanna make note of where your feet are at the start of the movement and where your camera is lined up. So here, I'm standing in the middle. If you follow these concrete lines, I'm standing in the middle and I'm just gonna push all the way through, lined up exactly how I was before, and then start our movement. I'm taking my finger off the trigger now because I know that when I get here, I'm gonna slowly start a smooth rotation. Smooth rotation, smooth rotation. Slightly bending my wrists. Moving into the curve of the house. Watching where my feet are. All the way to the end. So it's important to understand that was a lot of movement, that was a lot of distance we covered, but the more distance you can get, both exterior and interior, the more distance you can get in your movements, the smoother your speed ramps will be at the end. All right, so we've got pretty much our staple push shots. Those are reliable shots we can count on at any time. Now I'm gonna switch the gimbal to PTF mode. I'm gonna get a more creative push orbit curve shot here, kind of a blend of the three, where I'm gonna start up high, in PTF, start up high, and I'm just gonna slowly push, rotate my wrist, and tilt down at the same time. And it just gives this really cool, euphoric movement with the bridge there. And I'm just gonna carry this movement all the way through till I hit the house. And the reason I go that far, again, so I have all this room to work with in post-production. I have that full clip that I can speed ramp in or speed ramp back out, and I have plenty of movement. All right, now that we're inside, what I'm looking for is just my wide blue shots here. I'm gonna start with the living room. And as you can see, from my perspective, as you can see, I'm looking for the most amount of distance that I can get, the longest push that I can get. And because I can't really push straight, or I can push straight, but I'd go into the window, it doesn't show off enough of that space. So what I'm gonna do is get a push curve here. I'm just gonna start my rotation early and just follow that through all the way to the end. Go as far as I can, and that's good. Now I'm gonna come back and I see this opportunity over here. I can get a bit more distance coming all the way to the kitchen, and I'll do the same thing, getting a wide straight push this way. When I do wide straight pushes, I'm always holding in the trigger, locking that trigger just to keep it steady. And you'll see I kind of dance around the furniture just to make sure I can get all that distance. Because I have the gimbal locked, it allows me to keep everything centered without snaking around. I let my lower body do the snaking while I keep the camera nice and steady. Now, last shot, I've got 2 shots now of this space. Last shot, I'll do an orbit shot, and I'm gonna pick something to focus on. So right behind Jace, I see a little statue there. I'm gonna focus on that, and I'm gonna move to this way. I'm just starting a rotation, dropping down just a little bit and finishing up that movement. And just like that, I have 3 blue shots that I can use in this room. Now I can move on. I don't need to overcomplicate it. I don't need to make anything crazy. Move on to the kitchen. Kitchen, same thing applies. I'm picking just a straight line where I can get as much distance as I can into something interesting. So I'll start walking, straight line, bob around the couch a little bit, move straight in, push all the way into the TV, stop there. Now, I'll head to this corner of the room. From here, I obviously can't go straight. I'll hit into the bench top. So what I wanna do is utilize a push curve. So I'm gonna pick a point right behind Jace. I see that green plant there. I'm gonna lock my center focus right on that green plant. And I'm just gonna push curve, orbit, locked straight there the whole way. All the way until I get there. 2 shots down. Now let's look for another opportunity. Let's do perhaps an orbit movement of the dining room table. So I'm gonna start up high. I'm starting my wrist rotation early, starting it early, and then moving till I find it, and just keep it there. And I might as well just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I have all this room to move with, so I might as well just keep going. Now that I'm here in this corner, I see another opportunity to do the same thing. We'll just get a push curve into the appliances there. And then push straight through. And what this allows me to do is the more distance I get, the more I can show off the actual space. So you get a good sense of what that room actually feels like, what it looks like, and it's just more euphoric, more dynamic. So we've got our exteriors done. We've got the heart of the home done, the kitchen, the living room. Now it's onto the primary suite, the next most important part of the house. Here, following the same process, focusing on wides, I'm looking for the longest path that I can get. In this case, I can stand all the way back here and push into that chair, so I'll go ahead and do that. Always, always, always picking an end target before you start recording. Pick where you want to lock on, where you want your viewer to focus their eyes before you start recording, and then follow that movement. Stay locked on, getting as much movement as I can. Now another shot I like to get into bedrooms real quick, just another orbit, staple shot. I'm gonna go to the headboard right behind Jace's head. And I'm just gonna orbit, start up high, drop down low. Good shot. We've got 2 shots now. Let's look for a third. I see a good opportunity here to just get that same straight push. Boom, 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 all the way through, keeping something center. And just like that, bedroom's done, 3 shots. We can stay here, we can get creative, we can do all sorts of cool stuff, but our glue is done. The most important part is done. Now we have time to be creative if we want to be. So we'll shoot the rest of the house following that same process. I'm really only looking for 2 to 3, maybe 4 wide shots following our 4 glue shot principle. Go through every room in the house, filming that way. Then we're gonna pop over the detail lens. So right now I've got the 50mm 1.4 on, and I've got an ND filter on to make sure that I can keep that 1.4 aperture. And we're gonna follow pretty much the same process. Usually I start exterior, then work my way interior. While we're here, we'll just show you the shots that I get. So the first shot is a classic slider. I always get a staple slider in every single room with my detail lens. And here, because the views are so spectacular out these windows, I'm gonna really highlight these views here. PF mode. I'm gonna turn my lens to manual focus so that I don't hunt anywhere along the way. Lock my trigger, same movement. We're gonna get that slider. And then I wanna use some elements like this sculpture in front of me for part of the foreground. And it just adds that nice little dynamic movement. As you can see, when we have something in the foreground like this sculpture, it really helps draw the viewer's eye into the space that we're filming. The next shot I'll get here is a variation of the orbit shot. It's kind of like a push curve, kind of like an orbit, where I'm just doing basically a semicircle halfway. So the key here, because I'm on the 50mm, I'm trying to get rid of micro jitters. I'm gonna widen my stance so I don't have to take steps. I just want to sway my hips here. So we'll hit record, and then I'm just gonna slide and rotate. About as far as I can go, bring it back, slide and rotate. Now we'll try a different variation of that. Maybe we'll go flip to PTF mode and reveal maybe the mountains in the background. Set my exposure or my focus for the mountains in the background. Then I'm gonna drop down low so I get all this layers in the foreground. PTF mode, I'm gonna start tilting down and pull back, tilting up. You'll notice I'm not taking any steps. I don't want to take any steps at all, because as soon as I step, that's when we get wobbles. That's when we get shakiness in our camera. We got to keep a wide stance and slide from side to side. Okay, now we're in the kitchen. I'm going to try and get like a really cool detail shot of the kitchen faucet. Again, I'm looking for elements in the foreground. I've got the flowers here that look really nice. We'll set my focus to the faucet, and I'm just going to orbit slowly around. I am taking steps here, but very, very gently, very, very, very gently to get a shot just like that. Okay, then again, another classic slider. I'm taking steps very, very slowly, keeping my grid in line with the cabinets. and going all the way as far as I can, getting as much layers in the foreground as I can to add that parallax, that dynamic movement. So the thing with details is it's kind of a freestyle. Yes, you follow a system. We're really only looking for 2 to 3 good details in each space, but the key with details is finding opportunities where there's really powerful textures or lighting scenarios or just really unique objects that you wouldn't find anywhere else. And so as we're walking through the hallway, I see light down the staircase. So I'm gonna go into PTF mode. I'm gonna focus on that light. I'm gonna hit record, and then it's just a simple orbit shot. That's all that's happening here. It's just a simple orbit shot where I move around, looking through the glass, just to show you the power of having an element in the foreground. If I just lock on right here to the end of the railing and I just move like this, it's cool, but watch what happens when I go just a little bit further and we use this railing in front of us. So I'll center back up here and take it all the way further. When you use foreground to your benefit, there's really cool things that happen. All right, so we're back in the master suite now. I'm going to get a simple slider shot. Again, just looking for 2 to 3 usable shots here. Dialing back my ND filter, and I'm gonna expose for the view outside. Don't really care about the foreground here because what we want our viewer to see is what you would see if you were actually living here, staying here. So we wanna show the view. So I'm focusing there, blocking my slider, and just moving from side to side. Oh, just like that. Maybe I'll try a different variation of that, or maybe I'll start back here and just tilt up. And move around. If you do move, just try and have soft feet. We don't want to be stomping around. We want to be very soft, heel to toe, toe to heel. Absorb as much impact as you can in your feet and in your legs so that it doesn't transfer into your arms. So I'll step back here behind this wall, get a shot, tilt down just a little bit, and just slowly push reveal up. Cool. So that's wides and details done. We follow the same pattern all the way through the house in each room that we go to. All right, next part of the house, we're moving on to the pool area. I'm gonna get a few quick details out here. And I'm just PTF mode, tilting as I rotate. The movement is an orbit movement where I'm focusing on the little fountains back there. The movement is just a simple orbit arc that my feet are following. And all I'm introducing is PTF, where I'm tilting with my wrists. I'm not using a joystick, tilting with my wrists, following that arc movement. Adds a cool little layer of movement. It would be better if I had an element in the foreground. So what I'm gonna do is that same thing, but I'm gonna start back here behind these chairs, and we'll do that same exact movement, tilt down. And the key with good details is slow down your pace. Slow down your footsteps, slow down how fast your body moves. You wanna try and film at the final pace of the clip. So what I mean by that is you wanna try and film at the pace that the viewer is gonna watch it. So don't just plan on slowing every single clip down, 50% once you get into editing. Film at the pace that you want your viewer to see it, and then you can slow it down further if you need. So we went exteriors front, interiors, now we're exteriors / backyard, pool area, whatever your house has. Still on the wide lens here, following my same process. Looking for as much distance as I can get. What I see right now, right off the bat, is an orbit opportunity where I stay focused on those fountains right in front of me. And I'm gonna orbit around and watch what I do with my hips once I get about halfway here. I wanna point something out here. So you can start to orbit, and then as you get here, you can switch your hips back to keep a much more fluid, much more dynamic movement that allows you to flexibly get around spaces without getting a lot of micro jitter. It's all in your legs, it's all in your hips, it's not in your arms at all. You wanna keep your core solid, you wanna keep your arms solid, you wanna keep your head solid. The only thing that should be moving really is your hips and your legs. And on that note, one quick tip I have for you. Most people try and film like this. They lock their elbows and they have a straight up and down gimbal. The problem with this is it introduces too many variables of movement, and we're not activating the motors on our gimbal enough. So a quick and easy fix for this to make sure you're actually getting smooth footage is just lean 45 degrees forward. As you see, 45 degrees forward. I'm not straight up like this. Lean like this. That way we're using this motor. We're using this motor. We're using all 3 motors of our gimbal the way it's designed to be used so that there's tension and resistance on each motor. That allows for much more stable footage. Next shot, I'm moving to the other side of the pool. I'm looking for a straight shot opportunity, a straight push. And what I want to do is get a shot where I go across the pool straight to the window there. So I could take this angle and line up my grid on my camera right alongside this pool here. It's a good way to make sure I'm staying nice and centered along that. I've got my center line on my camera right lined up with the pool, and I'll just go ahead, lock that trigger, push through. All the way through to the end, to there. Not wearing shoes, so I'm not gonna step on gravel. But if that doesn't work for us, if we don't like that shot, maybe we wanna get a push curve shot. So I'll look for an area where I can actually push curve. I like this shot, so I'm gonna hit record. I'm gonna start my rotation early again, and I'm just gonna push curve all the way around the pool, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. I'm just following my camera, following my camera, following my camera to there. Not trying to steer it from side to side. I just lock my position and then follow, 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 follow. All right, so wides and details are done. Usually I do this when I leave the property. Last thing that's left is the drone. So we'll get this up in the air, we'll go inside, and I'll show you how I get my shots. All right, so we've got our drone in the sky. What I'm doing is just quickly scouting the property that we're looking at. And as you can see, this is a giant property. This is 16,000 square feet. It's got a really cool layout to it. There's a lot to show here. So I'm just flying around looking for angles that I like, just so I know what angles. Obviously the hero of this is going to be the Red Rock Mountain views that we have off in the distance. As much as we can, we want to frame the house up with the mountains in the backdrop, because just looking at the house is cool, but when you frame it up with the mountains in the background and the golf course and everything around it, then it becomes an entirely different experience. So let's jump straight into it. When I took the drone off from the pool, I actually liked the reveal shot from the pool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fly back to the pool. I'm on the 1X lens here. I always start on the 1X lens. Same principle applies. We start with wides first before going into details. What I'm gonna do is just track the pool, start with my simple glue. So I'm right over the top of the pool here, and I'm gonna get just a simple, this is basically a push curve. All I'm doing with my thumb is pulling back on the stick here. It's essentially a push curve in reverse. So, not a push curve, a wide push in reverse. It's a wide pull. Then I'll pull back far enough and turn it into a wide curve. Start to add some elevation into the mix and then push back to the house. I almost always start off with just a straight pullback shot from the house. It's kind of the classic shot. You can't go wrong with the classic pullback shot. And then we'll head back towards the house. You'll notice I'm recording this whole time because I'm looking for movements that I think will look good in the final edit. And the worst thing that you can do flying a drone is fly an awesome movement, not record it, and then try and go back and record it later, and you can't get the movement right. So there's no reason not to just have everything recording at all times. Now, that being said, I don't just record one continuous clip, but give yourself as much length as you can with the drone, especially with the drone. There's no reason not to be recording the whole time. So we just finished getting our drone shots. I'm gonna stick around a little bit longer, get some twilight shots, but for now, that's how I film ultra luxury homes just like this one. And if you want to see what we made, stick around. I'll show you in 3, 2, 1.
Long before this was Utah, this land was lava rock and silence. And it waited to be found. When the pioneers found this country, they stopped, looked, and knew this is the place. Generations later, this land has been claimed by a home too impossible to ignore. They call it Bridges. 16,000 square feet, and none of them accidental. This is not a first attempt at luxury. It's the final iteration. Refined through decades of knowing what to keep and what to leave out. Built into a place most people will never see. A place where the world finally gets quiet. Where every window knows its view. Where every room earns its keep. A home for someone who already knows what enough is supposed to feel like. Someone who will stand here, stop, look once, and know. This is the place. This is home.